going on, vinyl community? Welcome to another video with the Record Spinner. In today's video, I'm going to break down, in my opinion, the best all-new beginner's turntable setup. Now, if you're a long-time viewer of the channel, you're probably wondering, Dylan, you have a Rega, why are you making this video? Well, firstly, because I have been doing YouTube for so long, and shockingly, I have never tackled this concept before, so it's never too late to break into some fresh ground. But also, this video is destined for the vinyl novice, someone who's getting into collecting vinyl or is merely curious about the hobby. So if you're out there and you're watching this video, this is for you. Now, when it comes to vinyl collecting, I am not this sort of gatekeeper that believes that vinyl collecting has a book of rules, because my ideology is to each their own. You buy and listen to what you like and seek. But with that said, there is a faint line to be drawn in the sand when it comes to what you listen to your records on. Now, I won't beat a dead horse about the unanimous opinion on Crosley's or all-in-one setups, because sure, they are attractive because of the convenience and the price, but from a true consumer's perspective, the heavy tracking forces will ultimately damage your records with time, and from a listener's perspective, the built-in speakers just don't do any justice to the sonic warmth one can feel from records. Now, you don't have to spend the farm to have a respectable listening setup, and there are a number of ways that you can go about it. You can seek vintage gear secondhand for a decent price depending on what it is, or you may get lucky and get stereo components handed down from friends and family for the unbeatable cost of nothing. But let's say you wanted to get an all-fresh, brand-new turntable setup and your budget is at around $250, this video will show you that for under that price, you can have a solid, respectable beginner's turntable setup. There is quite a bit to discuss, so enough of the chit-chat. Let's jump into what this video is all about. First and foremost, the most important part of any listening setup is the turntable, and the one that I'm choosing for this beginner setup is the Audio-Technica LP60X. I had the original iteration of this turntable, that being the LP60, within the first couple of years that I started to collect, and I currently use two LP60Xs for my Untracked Grooves Pirate Radio series. It's a belt drive turntable that plays at 33 and 45 RPM. You can change speeds in just the push of a button. It's also an automatic turntable, which adds an element of convenience of just pressing the start button, the tone arm moves into place and gently eases into the leading groove, and then when it reaches the dead wax, it brings the tone arm to its original resting position. There's also a switch where you can indicate the size of the record that's currently on the turntable, whether it's a 7-inch or a 12-inch. That way, if you are using the automatic function, the tone arm moves to the correct starting position. Now, this turntable comes pre-mounted with a special dual magnet cartridge which isn't swappable, which some people will criticize, along with the fact that there is no adjustable counterweight or anti-skate. But because this turntable is already mounted in, the LP60X is manufactured to a degree that ensures that the records will track properly, the tracking force weighing in at an appropriate weight of around 3 grams. In fact, the updated design of the tone arm base and head shell on the LP60X compared to the original model improves tracking and reduces resonance. I should mention that after the original stylus wears out, the recommended replacement model is the ATN 3600 LC, which is a conical stylus, meaning that it has a cone-like rounded tip. But if you want to shell out a few extra bucks, there is the ATN 3600 LE model, which is an elliptical stylus, which will provide improved sound quality. Now, the original LP60 model came in a plethora of different colors, which made it adaptable to any aesthetic based on the consumer, but these days the LP60X is available in black, brown, and gunmetal. It also comes with a dust cover and a felt slip mat for the aluminum platter, not the cork one that you see that I am using. The next piece of gear that you'll need is a preamp to boost the signal coming from the turntable. Now, some prefer to keep audio components separate from each other, and there are very inexpensive preamps that you can use for roughly $20, but for this beginner setup, it's all about keeping it simple and also convenient. Convenient in the sense that there is a preamp built into the LP60X that you can use. To use it, refer to the switch on the back of the turntable that states Phono Line, and using the line in function to the right activates the preamp. Whether it was back when I had the original LP60 or using the new models for my Untracked Groove series, the integrated preamp gets the job done and sounds decent to the ears. However, if you want to use an external preamp or you have a receiver that has a phono stage to connect to, the LP60X is adaptable either way. You just deactivate the built-in preamp by switching it from line in to phono. Now, what are you going to use for speakers? For the purposes of this video and setup, let's say that you use the built-in preamp, you'll need active/powered speakers instead of the passive/non-powered ones that you would connect to a receiver via speaker wire. There are a plethora of speaker options that you can choose from at different price points from various manufacturers. Hell, I remember using what one could deem as computer monitors at one point during my juvenile collecting days. But one speaker manufacturer that I recommend is Edifier. I've used Edifier speakers in the past in previous setups, specifically their R1280Ts that sounded superb with my U-turn Orbit turntable. They put out some fantastic product. They have different models available at different price points, but a solid starter pair are their R980T bookshelf speakers. The R980Ts come in a nice black wooden finish, producing a total of 21 watts of sound. Each speaker contains a 4-inch bass driver and 13mm tweeters. Aside from having dedicated volume controls, you can also control the amount of bass output. They may look small in size, but believe me, from personal experience, having heard these, they pack in some serious power and do justice in a small to medium-sized listening room. So how do you get this turntable set up, connected, and off to the races? First and foremost, make sure the line-in function is switched on in the back of the turntable, which will activate the built-in preamp. The LP60X comes with a detachable 3.5mm male to dual RCA male cable, so you insert the 3.5mm end from the turntable and connect the RCA ends to the aux inputs of your powered speaker. Now, there will be a small piece of speaker wire that you would connect from the ports of the powered speaker to the one passive speaker. The turntable is already ready to spin once you plug the power source, and all you got to do is fire up the speakers, and just like that, you are all set to go. I should mention that if you don't want to mess with cables, there are Bluetooth variants of both the turntable and speakers available that you can just sync up together. However, the prices for each component go up for featuring that function, and quite frankly, I swear solely by cables. The sound quality ends up being marginally better going down that route. There's even a USB option for the Bluetooth variant of the turntable that allows you to convert your records digitally, but the price of that alone exceeds the budget proposed in this video. So while the USB conversion is a cool feature, definitely bypass it here. But with all that said, the Audio-Technica LP60X turntable will run $149, and the Edifier R980T speakers will run $89. Add it all up, and it misses the $250 threshold by adding up to $238. A killer deal for a modest beginner's turntable setup. So there you guys go. That is, in my opinion, the best beginner's turntable setup. Now, the market for turntable gear is endless with so many options, which leaves me to ask you guys, what do you guys think is a solid beginner's turntable setup? Please drop a comment down below. I'd love to know. And if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give it a like, and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video, and most importantly, keep the records spinning.